This session is the this session is the first session, as in the 0th session. Today we are going to do the installation, and we will get started with how to use Python. All right. Today the biggest question you will face is that I don't know Python, then how am I going to install, right? So don't worry about it. Just follow the installation instructions, and you will be able to install and go ahead. All right. So the main focus today is we should be able to install and and we should be able to install and uh, go ahead. Okay. So that tomorrow when we have the actual session, there is no problem in doing the hands-on. The way we conduct most of our sessions is that all of our attendees will have to do hands-on during the session along with the instructor. All right. So 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 basically, while the instructor is showing something, you will have to do the same thing with at your own setup or using the CloudxLab. Great. So before we start, let me just introduce ourselves about CloudxLab. So the main objective at CloudxLab is making learning fun and for life. Currently, the current focus of CloudxLab is teaching the technology. So we are starting with the Python for machine learning. Before this, we have been the pioneers of lab for big data and Hadoop and Spark. Now we are starting with the Python for machine learning. We have done machine learning courses for many people, and we have taught Python earlier for many people, but we have not launched it on CloudxLab on the website. All right. So in this session, we will first introduce ourselves, and then we will go ahead with the installation. That's all is the agenda for today. That's all is the agenda for today. All right. So the idea is to make learning fun and for life. So the first part of making learning fun is the videos or the live sessions, the quizzes and the exercises that will be provided to you in the CloudxLab, and then the hands-on assessments. This is something unique about us that we will go into detail. Then projects and case studies. All right. And all of this will be based on real life use cases. The core idea that is behind automated hands-on assessment, this part that we talked about, is learn by doing. Learn by doing as in that we can only learn by doing things. Otherwise we will not retain, and we will only remember the words and the theory. All right. Therefore the sole idea is learning by doing. And how do we do that? So there is a problem statement that you will be provided to you. There'll be a problem statement that a hands-on assessment provides you, and then you will have to perform hands-on. Only then the automatic assessment will happen. This is something traditionally an instructor will do for you, that you will solve something and show it to an instructor or a teacher or a professor, and they will say, yes, you're doing a good job, right? But we have made it automated. That means the overall response time of the teacher, the overall response time of assessment is drastically improved. All right, I'll show you a glimpse of it. So you get a problem statement, you go into the lab, you do the hands-on, and automatically system checks whether you have done things correctly or not. This has been very successful approach in my learnings. I have taught close to 2,000 hours by now, and and I found that this approach is something which is making people learn stably. Stably means learning for longer period of time. All right, so that you don't miss out, you don't forget, and you are able to solve larger problems. All right, now this is one screenshot of this is one screenshot of the hands-on assessment. So here it's giving you a challenge that you will have to log in into the console on CloudxLab. All right, and once you are done, you have to click on I'm done, please check, and then it goes and checks whether you have really logged in or not. The other example of hands-on assessment is this, that here it's asking you to write a simple code like define x as 10. Don't worry if you have no idea about this, right? Just be with me. So here it's providing you a challenge, and then you have to log in into CloudxLab and into the Jupyter. We will talk about all of these today, so do not worry about it. And then when you click on I'm done, you will get, it will go and check whether you are doing things good in Python in the Jupyter, and only then it'll go ahead. It'll give you go ahead. Okay, so here when I clicked on I am done, please check, since I've not done anything on the right hand side, it shows me that x is not defined and assigned properly. Right now, the moment I define x as 10 in our usual worksheet, it will check and give you a go ahead. All right, this is not something on the right hand side is something what we are going to show you today, how to install and get up and running. All right, most of the course is designed such that you can work in the Jupyter is one of the IDs of one of the web interfaces of Python. And since we are aiming for analytics or machine learning in a longer future, we are going to focus more on Jupyter instead of Python ID. Okay. All right. The course objectives on a larger scale is learning Python for machine learning and deep learning. All right, so this is the foundational course. This is the foundational course for machine learning and uh, deep learning specialization. And in this part, what we're going to learn is we're going to learn Python for machine learning with scikit-learn and TensorFlow. TensorFlow is for deep learning and scikit-learn is for machine learning. All right, so that these are the things that we are going to learn as part of the full specialization course. And and the and this one, the Python one, is going to be focused more towards churning numbers and more towards learning Python in order to do the analytics and processing all kind of data. All right, so I'm the instructor for the course. I'm Sandeep Giri. I graduated from IIT Roorkee and in long back. Then I have largely worked in my career on large scale computing. And as part of my career, I started with a company called DE Shaw. Probably only few of you would be knowing this. And it's a company where uh, Amazon's founder also worked. So it's a very interesting company where I've largely worked on humongous clusters, like 10,000 computers clusters, and and a humongous data company, as in before big data, we actually were dealing with big data at DE Shaw. Now, afterwards, I founded a company called Tbits Global, and then then I worked with InMobi in processing around 200 terabytes data. And afterwards, I joined Amazon. At Amazon, I did the Amazon detail page for phone and the image processing for the Amazon detail page large uh, object, large image. The detail page at Amazon is the page where you see the from where you do the purchase, right? On the amazon.com, if you go on to any product detail and you click on buy now, that page is called Amazon detail page. So that's the page we owned, and the image processing of on the left hand side is something which I did along with building the page for the phone. All right, now at heart I am a software engineer, and I love explaining technologies. So feel free to ask as many questions as possible. If the time does not permit in the class, I will answer your questions on the discussion forum. All right. So that's about me. And we started CloudxLab because we realized that there is a need of upskilling a lot of people in the technology, and there is a gap between the actual need in the industry and what's being taught. So we started CloudxLab, and we have done quite a few innovations in order to impart learning better. The Cloud Lab was our first way of imparting the big data lab to many students. And before this, we were calling this as no big data, KNOW, big data. That was humongously successful idea where people learned MongoDB and all kinds of technologies. So that's about the instructor. Now, this is the first code that we're going to write today, which is 2 plus 3. Instead of saying hello world, we are just going to write 2 plus 3. This is something which we do in our first standard. All right. So this something does not require any explanation that why it's called code. All right. So this is probably the easiest code I could come up with. And instead of saying hello world, so we are going to do this today after the installation. All right. So there are two ways to go ahead with Python. One is using the CloudxLab. Okay, using the CloudxLab. So you're free to do the installation on your own machine, but we found that installation fails a lot of times, and sometimes we do the installation at home and on the home laptop, and we want to work and finish the assignments in the office, then we don't have the setup ready. And that's where we set up CloudxLab so that you can access it from anywhere. All right. So we're going to go ahead with CloudxLab. So the procedure is basically you sign up with CloudxLab, go into my lab credentials, click on Jupyter, and that's it. All right. And you will get the Jupyter. Once you get the Jupyter, then all right. Before we jump into Jupyter, then I'll just explain to you what is Jupyter. Jupyter is basically a web-based interface to interact with Python. It's a web-based interface to interact with Python, right? And once you are in Jupyter, you can launch. Sorry. So in while Jupyter started as the web-based interface for Python, but now you can actually run R and other languages via Jupyter. So we're going to just I'm going to just show you how it looks. All right. So all right. So let me just go into CloudxLab. So in case you have not signed up for CloudxLab, you can sign up there. And if you are planning to use CloudxLab for the lab, you can basically enroll. All right, good. So Once you have logged in, once you have enrolled for CloudxLab, let's say I sign out here and I'll just show you how does it look. And so if I go into lab, then I can enroll for the lab, whether 1 month, 3 month, or 6 months. Then okay, then all right. Then what you can do is basically once you have taken the subscription, you can just log in with your Gmail ID. I'm right now logging into my with personal ID into the CloudxLab. Okay. Now, when I click on my lab, okay, you go into lab credentials. Here in the lab credentials, there is Jupyter, and we'll talk about the other tools later. Okay. Now, this is Jupyter. Jupyter provides you many things. One is a way to manage your files and folders, right? Instead of logging into remote system using FTP or SSH, you can actually just write here. Okay, just create folder here or create file here. All right, this is a Jupyter. Now, question somebody is asking is how Jupyter is different from PyCharm. PyCharm is something that you install on your desktop, and generally that's good for writing the bigger softwares. And for analytics, people use Jupyter primarily. Interactive shell is something that we require when we want to do the quick processing or instant work. All right, so this is Jupyter, and next is once we have opened Jupyter, we have options of going to Scala if you want to learn Python or R, or if you want to open terminal in order to interact with the Unix system directly. Okay, so here we are launching Python 3. All right, so you can see this console. That's it. That's it. Here you can save this worksheet as well as we can work on it. All right, so here basically each of these shells that this text box that you see here, you can write your code. Let's say 2 plus 3 is my code. So it shows you the output here instantaneously. So if you want to check anything, if you the quickest way of learning any new programming language is by trying again and again, by trying again and again and quickly. There should not be a, a hurdle. There should not be hurdle like I'll create a file, save the file, compile the file, and then run it. That it should not be like that. It should be just like calculator, just like calculator. And that's what Jupyter provides you, or interactive shell provides you. I'll talk about interactive shell later, right? So this is Jupyter, and okay, those who have already taken who have already signed up with CloudxLab would be able to do it right away. Are you able to do it right away? Yes. Okay. So uh, the thing is that you have to press Shift and Enter. Okay. If you say 10, you can see I've assigned 40 to X. X is just another variable. I hope this is not too difficult. And you can say X, and it'll print the value of X as 40. Okay, so now you got another calculator to use, that is Jupyter here. You have to press Shift plus Enter. Okay, why not Enter? Because the code could be bigger, it could be multi-line, therefore it's not twice. Okay, therefore they provided Shift plus Enter. Okay, now, all right, so does it sound like fun that you are able to do, you know, you could write the first code without even learning the programming language? All right. Great. Wonderful. So we were able to launch Jupyter from the CloudxLab, and we were able to write our first code. Great. Now the second part is that if you are really a console person who likes console, you can do that using the web console, or even the console from within the Jupyter. Okay. Console from within the Jupyter is also possible, or console from here. What is console? Console is a way to directly connect to a remote system. So here I'm logged into a remote system. I'm logging into remote system, and all I have to do is copy paste the passwords. Okay. Don't worry, I'm going to go through the installation on your desktop as well. This is just the Python one. Okay. This is just a CloudxLab one. All right. Now what you see is that we have launched the shell. I will talk about it briefly. So when we provide our login password and login into a remote shell, this is called shell. It's asking for command, and as I type any command such as ls, it shows me the output. That's what any interactive shell does. The interactive shell, the interactive shell is nothing but any kind of program that takes a command for you and shows you the output. That's interactive shell, and it keeps on doing it over and over again. All right. The interactive shell could be of Python, it could be of Go, it could be Scala, it could be of Julia, and so many other systems provide interactive shell. Even the SQL, MySQL provides the interactive shell. These are called interactive shell, and these are nice way to interact with any system. All right. Here we are interacting with Unix directly. So I typed a command called ls, which means list the files, and it is listing the files for me. Okay. So if you want, we have created a public free tutorial on how to learn Linux. You can go over to CloudxLab. There I have created a detailed tutorial on Linux, and my strong suggestion to all of you would be that you should learn a bit of Linux. Okay, because if you are going to go for analytics or machine learning or data sciences or any server-side programming, DevOps, and many systems, the Linux comes as handy. That's a primary requirement. Okay, Linux or Unix, anything. And also the same knowledge will be applicable in Windows maybe in a couple of years, because they're bringing same interactive shell in the Windows also. All right, great. So this is the interactive shell. Now question is, how do we launch the the Python 3? Although Python can be launched just like this, but this one is Python 2. Okay, so we have set up a Python 3 as well, because we are going with Python 3 in this course. We are not going with Python 2. Okay, so the way we are going to do is we're going to first export this path. We will set it up for you, don't worry, and then do this and then do this. Okay, I'm going to paste the same command in the chat box as well. Okay, so let me just paste the same command in the chat box. Okay, all right, and then Python 3. Right. So now what you see is these commands will only work in specifically these first two commands will only work in the CloudxLab. Okay, so this is the same interactive shell. This is the same interactive shell. You can see that we can start doing the computation like this. So you see, it's like a very simple calculator at your disposal. This is Python interactive shell. Okay, this is Python interactive shell. All right, let me just press Control L and make the screen clear. So you can start using it in whatever way you want, and you will be able to use it like a quick calculator. All right. Then, so that's about a basic introduction to the console, the interactive shell. To get out of the interactive shell, you can press Control D. Okay. Control D is generally for ending any input to the program. And that's true for everything. Even from here, if I press Control D, I will log out from the console. All right. So that's about the console. Great. Now moving ahead, a question from Karimula is that what is the history of Python? How is it different from R? Let's discuss it in the second session. Okay. I'll make a note of it so that we can discuss tomorrow and go over what it is. All right. Also, I'll be very open to you that we will focus more on hands-on, and we will not get into the political wars of various languages. All right, we'll just set the motivation right that most of the work in today's time would be done in Python as going ahead. And though there are many libraries available for R, the same can be used in Python by using pandas or similar way. Okay, so we will talk about the motivation behind using Python, but for now, the strong motivation to all of you is that it's not going to hurt you in any way to learn Python, because it's going to be an additional tool in your arsenal. All right, great. So this is what we did just now. Now let's let's install on your own machine. Okay, let's install on your own machine. And what we're going to do is these are the steps that we are going to follow. Download Anaconda, install Anaconda, and then open the navigator, and then open Jupyter. Let me give you the blog post link again. All right, so yeah. Okay, so here is the blog post link, right? And let me just open the blog post again. All right, so here, right. So here, what Abhinav has written is a detailed installation instruction. Abhinav is a teammate from CloudxLab, and all right. So my whole team is in the session, and they would be answering your questions. Okay. So what we have here is the detailed installation instructions, and here we go. So this is the part that we're going to go. Since I don't have Windows locally, so what I'm going to do is I'm logging into my Paperspace system. Okay, my Paperspace system is basically providing me the Windows machine on the cloud. So I'm going to use a Windows machine on Paperspace. Okay, all right. So here, do we have? Okay. So a general thumb rule on Windows system is you should generally install Java JDK because many other tools will require it as you go ahead. Okay, now let me download Anaconda. Okay, let me just say download Anaconda. The way to come out of the Python prompt is just pressing the Control D. Okay, now going ahead with download. So what you see is a Windows version here. Those who have CloudxLab, they can actually happily use CloudxLab. Those who want to install on the local, these instructions are for them. So the first thing we are doing is Anaconda. Anaconda is nothing but kind of a package manager. It has bundled various tools for data sciences. Okay, it has bundled various tools into a big installer so that you don't have to hunt around for individual tool. Okay, so that's the easiest path to take. I can give you the URL. All right. No, Paperspace is not part of CloudxLab. Paperspace is basically a AWS kind of system whereby they provide us Windows. Okay. Now, the Anaconda, we basically are downloading the Python 3.6 version. Okay, Python 3.6 comes with Python 3. This one comes with Python 2.7. Okay, most of the world has moved to Python 3. That's why we want to learn Python 3 instead of Python 2. There are only very minor differences, very slight differences in the way you use a language. So you will not have a problem using Python 2 or Python 3 at all. I'll talk about the differences later. These are very, very minor differences. Okay. All right. I'm just going to go ahead with the installation. It says 8 seconds left. By the time I can, okay, there's a question from Deepankar Mohanty. I think you can take a look at it. So minimum the main constraint on your laptop is generally the hardware. Okay, and yes, be aware that when you set up anything, you might have to have a hardware upgrade at various times, and that's the one of the biggest reasons and one of the biggest motivations of of building an online lab so that nobody has to install anything. Now since okay, all right, so yes, you can just search for Anaconda and you should be there. Okay, those who are asking for the download, you can download from here. Let me just give you, okay. And how do I copy from here? Okay, actually between the virtual machines, I'm not able to copy. No, it's not working. Okay, I'm not able to copy between the virtual machines. Never mind. So I'm going to go ahead with the installation. Somebody from my team can put it. All right, now go ahead here. So here we are saying that okay, I'm going to register my default Python 3. Okay, and let this also be there. Okay, so here when I install Anaconda, these are the only options I have to select and click on install. It might take a bit of time. All right. A question from Vinudeep is that could you later specify the hardware requirement? I think there would be hardware requirements on their machines, on their server as well. That'll be more detailed. Okay. Looks like it's going to take some time. All right. In the meantime, I can answer your question by while the Anaconda is being installed. Those who are having the problems with the screen resolution, set the resolution to 720p. Based on your bandwidth, YouTube sets the YouTube sets the resolution automatically. Question is, can I see the topics that we are covering today? We are mostly going to cover the installation guide today and the questions related to the installation. All right. Though looks like that we would finish by 8 o'clock, but I would love to answer your questions. I see. Is it going to take 30 minutes for me to install this? Okay. We we did install earlier, but I uninstalled it in order to give you a demonstration. Okay. A question from Jui is that I'm unclear about imports. Okay. Um, all right. So imports is basically those are the libraries that we are going to use during the course after the basics of Python. Okay. So we just uh, gave you those two examples just to check whether you are able to import or not. All right. So while this is being installed, why don't all of you, those who want to install locally, also give it a try? Yes, Juhi. As we go during the course, we are going to learn how to import and other things. All right. Or do you mean that today are we going to use this? Okay. Let me see if I can. I can. All right. A question is, I hope WinPython also be bundled up with all packages. Could you please clarify how Anaconda differs from it? Okay. Thank you for letting me know there's something called WinPython. I've not tried WinPython, but the biggest difference which Anaconda brings is that it bundles all the open source libraries with it. It brings scikit-learn, it brings NumPy, it brings SciPy, and everything that is needed for for data sciences, machine learning, analytics, or or other similar branch of computing. Um, a question is, I'm a bit unclear. Are we going to get machine learning basics, including maths, for free today or later on? So today we are going to basically cover the installation only. So if you have already done installation, you are good to go for tomorrow. And then we're going to have 4 to 5 sessions. So we are going to first finish the Python basics, and there are few maths classes. Okay, the foundation course for our machine learning is free. Foundation course for our machine learning specialization is free, and that includes Python, that includes the linear algebra, that includes the basics of the other maths required. All right, good question, Raju. Okay, all right. Okay, so question from Juhi is that some, yeah, so that if I'm not the if I could import libraries, then I'm good to go. Yes, so you should be able to import libraries, and let me see if we are able to do that. So when you do import numpy, what happens when you run this command? When you Once the installation finishes and we are able to launch all of this, and we say, okay, numpy or pandas. These are the two big libraries. Pandas behave like R, and those people who are coming from other programming languages like R, they find pandas really useful, and it's actually useful for others as well. Okay. All right. So yes. Okay. So these two commands you can try once you have installed. One is import numpy, and other is import pandas. All right. Yeah. You should not be expecting any input. You should, if you run import numpy and you get an error, that means it's not working. Okay. Otherwise, if you get no output, that means everything is good. When you say import something, it should not print anything. Looks like it's going to take a bit of time. Right. Thanks, Ravi. All right. Good, Juhi. Now, okay. A point from Deepanjan is that while installation is being done, why not continue with CloudxLab Jupyter? Actually, the things that I have not planned yet is that do we need to go over? So since we are going to cover the basics tomorrow, basics of Python, it'll make more sense to do the more sense to okay more sense to do it later. Okay. All right. So this is where the installation is going on, and the suggestion from Deepanjan is not bad actually. In the meantime, we could just experiment with the CloudxLab one. So let me see if I'm able to import NumPy. Right. And also, those who are wondering, what does these numbers means? This is basically the commands executed. And when you import something is nothing but saying that I'm going to use this particular third-party package. Package is nothing but bundle of. functionalities provided by other people. Okay, so the import pandas and import. Let me just see that am I able to import this? Yes, import TensorFlow. It's not working here, so we'll have to see that. We'll have to install TensorFlow in this. No worries. So this is how the error you will get if you're not able to import anything. Okay. All right. So the easiest code to write is mathematical expression. This is something we learned in the childhood. Okay. So, wow, it's still like 60% complete. Question from Muti is that when I'm importing pandas, this is the error that you get, this kind of, right? So in pandas, there has to be one A, not double A. All right. I think it's a typing mistake. All right. So Jupyter, and then, those who are still wondering, you can press Shift Enter to execute anything, and you can actually go up and execute anything at any point of time. All right. Okay, so the installation is going on. Okay, okay. All right, all right, all right. So again, long story short, if you want to just use a Jupyter out of the box, you can just sign up for CloudxLab, the lab, and you'll be able to just go ahead. Okay. And if you are looking for installation, local installation of all these tools required for the course, you can install Anaconda. Uh, Question from Deepanjan is that can you save online description of three packages, NumPy, Pandas, and scikit-learn? So Pandas gives you the ability of dealing with data in the form of tables that we call data frames. That's Pandas. NumPy provides you a big array and couple of more functionalities. And while the scikit-learn provides you the whole machine learning suite. So scikit-learn depends on NumPy, and there is another tool, another library called SciPy. SciPy is basically the scientific functions. So scikit-learn, sklearn, scikit-learn is depends on NumPy and SciPy, and Pandas depends on NumPy. Okay, that's probably the I know that it doesn't mean much right now, but as we go ahead and you start using them, you will have a clear idea. So NumPy is the most basic one. Pandas is kind of tabular structure. It provides you tabular structure and the operations to operate on tabular structure of data. And scikit-learn is basically a library of functions for machine learning. Okay, we'll learn as we go ahead. A question from Aditya is that can we use import command in terminal? Of course you can. All right. Do we have it open somewhere? I think I have it open somewhere. Okay. So if I say Python 3 here, I get Python 3. If I say Python simply, the default is going to be Python 2, I think. Now, here we have realized. Now, when we say Python 3 here, okay, and we say import NumPy, import pandas, then we say import even SciPy and import scikit-learn. These are the packages in in Python. These are basically bundle of codes that have all the functionalities required by the classic machine learning. Okay, I'm not sure if TensorFlow is something which we have put it in this particular one. We're going to install it very soon. No, it's not there. So in this package, this Anaconda package doesn't have TensorFlow. We're going to put it there. Okay, we learn how to put it there. Good. Our question is how normal Python learning is different from Python from machine learning. So there's no difference of the language as such. It's only the difference of packages. The basic of language, the basic foundation of language, such as the constructs like loops and the classes and objects, everything will remain as such. The entire logic will remain as such. The only difference is in the libraries that we use. That's first difference. Second is sometimes we differ in the choice of the tools. For example, right now we are going to use Jupyter, but if let's say we were developing a web application, so some of us would prefer to go with a thick client based system like PyCharm or any other installed IDE, integrated development environment. Okay, but so those are the difference in choices where we have to write a lot of code first and then see the results at a later point of time, like in a web application. In that case, we choose to go with a, a text editor or a development environment. Okay, so that's one of the difference. Though these are the basic two main differences. Okay, good question. All right. Wow, we are about to finish installation. Okay. All right. So looks like it's going to complete. So usually the sessions are 3 hours, Edwin. And today we are going to just go over the installation. So the session might end in maybe like 15 to 20 minutes from now. Question is, A question from somebody is, can you show the navigator and Anaconda command prompt on your local machine? Okay, I'll show you very soon. Okay. Okay, there's a question from Nine Creations. Which book can we refer for machine learning? The one that we are, though we are going to go with multiple books, we are going to combine multiple books in the course. The few books that we will follow is one for machine learning. We are going to, let me just take it up. Okay, we are going to, one is the documentation of scikit-learn. Okay, the scikit-learn's documentation is really good here. This one, okay, the tutorial is really nice. So that's the first thing that we are going to follow. The second thing that we are going to follow is this book, Hands-on on Machine Learning and Deep Learning. Along with that, there are few more books that we will combine together in order to go with the course. Okay, so this is one of the uh, books that we're going to follow, other than the basic manuals. All right. Now, where is the installation? It's finished. Nice. All right. So learn more about Anaconda Cloud and learn more about support. That's okay. Okay, let me just close it here. All right. Now we have installed Python 3, uh, Python 3 Anaconda. Now once you're done with it, you will see Anaconda Navigator. Okay, Anaconda Navigator. Did launch. Okay, so these are the steps which we followed. We downloaded it, we launched it, and then we are trying to launch the Anaconda Navigator. All right, so the Anaconda Navigator is done. Okay, all right, let me just, yeah. So we have Jupyter Notebook here. The same way, once we launch the Jupyter Notebook, we can just click on it to launch Jupyter Notebook. What is Jupyter Notebook? Jupyter Notebook is nothing but a web page on which there are cells in which you can write code. And when you press Shift Enter, it will display you the results. Okay, so this is Jupyter. Jupyter is basically a bunch of various kinds of notebooks as well as these functionalities it provides, like file management and terminal. Okay, so you can see that we have started Jupyter. All right. So that's our first code. It's working fine. And when I say import numpy and import pandas, it does work. Let me see if scikit-learn it installs or not. It did install, I think so. Oh, it's taking some time. Also, when you see the asterisk here, when you see the asterisk means it's taking time. Okay, it's executing. So this is installed. If you want to see the if you just type numpy and shift enter, module numpy and blah blah blah. Okay. A question from Ravi is TensorFlow to be installed with GPU, CPU, or regular normal one? Regular normal will suffice for most of the cases. All right. And GPU one has a little bit glitches. Also for GPU one, you need to have the GPU machine. Okay. All right. What is GPU? GPU is a graphical processing unit, and it's basically earlier people used it for playing games or heavy graphics because GPU provides really good mathematical processing unit. And soon enough, people realized that the same thing could be used for machine learning very well because machine learning also requires lot of mathematical operations. Okay. Okay, a question from Shravan is why are terminals not available in local installation? Because probably the Windows doesn't provide you a Linux-like terminal. That's one of the reasons. And the we can open the Anaconda prompt and then see what happens there. And let's see if Python 3 is launched. Let me see. Okay, so by going to Anaconda prompt, you can open the Python console same way as Jupyter. We can type here our commands and it will work. Okay. All right. So let me just see. All right. So looks like all the imports are working correctly. See if yes. A question from Juhi is that what's the equivalent of this on Mac? The Mac also has a very good command prompt. I'll show you on Mac. So if you go here in the terminal, right, there also you will see Python 3. You see, I have installed Python 3 here. The installation instructions on the Mac are similar. And if you are on CloudxLab, you can simply SSH into CloudxLab. Okay. So I'm going to the same UI, the web console, whatever we had on CloudxLab, and this is my login. For you, it will show you password. And here also we can start the same way. Okay. That was our local Mac console. Great. So we are able to use the Anaconda prompt. Great. Okay. Again, question from Narsima is that what's the benefit of Python over R for machine learning? The okay. Okay. So the question will come again this one. So one, I would like to go into more details when we discuss Python in more details tomorrow. Okay. Second is learning Python will not hurt you, and it's okay to learn a newer language because and Python is quite popular because it basically lets you even develop the web applications and all kinds of systems along with machine learning. And Python provides you a rich set of libraries which you can use and rich set of functionality with respect to defining classes or anything. Okay, so Python has got better adoption as of today. All right, great. All right, so that's more or less about it. So I'll just go over a few more things. So what we did today was did the installation, and the we just followed a very simple form of installation. We installed one, we just used CloudxLab instead of installing. Second, we installed the Anaconda locally, uh, okay, and then used Jupyter. Okay, all right. So you can have access to the course if you go to my courses. You will be adding to, if since you must have signed up at CloudxLab already, you, for even for free, then in the my courses you will get free courses whatever we keep on providing you, and you can continue your learning there. For discussions, please come over to our discussion forum. That's a quite active forum for big data, machine learning, and general computing problems. And we would love to answer your questions there. Okay. All right. So here are the questions that being answered already. So come over to the forum and we would love to answer your questions. Okay. So okay. So I'll just go over the presentation once more quickly. So we started with the agenda that we are going to learn how to get started and installation. The we also we talked about the CloudxLab, that the sole agenda that we have is to make learning fun and for life, that we provide live as well as video, then quizzes, then hands-on, then projects and case studies. Hands-on is if you want, I can show you the hands-on part. Okay, so let me just show you the, okay. So on CloudxLab, we have Jupyter on one end, and on the other hand, we have, okay, let me just go over this. All right. Yeah. Okay. So there we are. I'm going to show you this. All right. So this is an assessment, and this is the Jupyter. Okay. There's just too many windows. I'll minimize some of them. Okay. And where is the, all right, this is probably the lab. Wow, I'm actually lost in the windows. No worries. Okay. All right. Here is a simple testing Python example, and here is the, let me just leave the 26th one. Okay. All right. So on the left hand side, you see a challenge in here in CloudxLab saying define access 10. And once you're done, please check. Okay. It says that X is not defined and assigned correctly. Okay. So I'm going to assign 10 and then say shift enter and then try again. You see that? So it's basically checking your homework. Okay, so we are going to give you more and more such exercises that while you're working on Jupyter, it can continuously check your work. Okay, so these are the exercises that we are working on, so that your entire learning becomes very like a game. You get the feedback immediately. Okay, so most of the exercises that we are going to do in case of in this course is in this form. Okay, the only downside of these exercises is that we can only evaluate your Jupyter if it's running on the CloudxLab. Okay. Yeah, that's the only problem. But if you're not, if you're okay with the self evaluating the assignments, then you can you don't need CloudxLab as such. But if you want this to happen, then CloudxLab something CloudxLab subscription is kind of needed. Okay, because we really cannot evaluate your local machine system, and that's one of the reasons that you. All right, all right. So this was a quick example of evaluation. So we basically have built these hands-on assessments for Linux, whereby you see a problem statement and hands-on, and then you see the assessment. It automatically checks whether you have done it or not done it. Okay, so in case of Linux, for example, this is the simplest one, that's asking you to log in into the Linux console, and then it'll check whether you have logged in or not, and then it'll keep on giving you more and more exercises, and then you'll be able to learn in a way that it lasts. Okay, say for example, in Linux tutorial, it'll ask you to give set certain kind of permissions and create certain kind of files. Then it'll automatically check whether you have done that or not. Okay, so this is the example that we took, that on the left hand side is a problem statement, on the right hand side is your usual Jupyter notebook. You continue your Jupyter notebook as such, and it checks whether you have done it or not. Okay, that means that for most of the work, you do not need to ask anybody that you are doing good or not. The system will keeps on checking. We are making more assessments on Python and other languages, and those will be available soon in your my courses. Right now they are not available in your my courses, but they'll be available soon. Okay. The course objective is to learn Python for machine learning and deep learning. Question is, what's the different about Python for machine learning and deep learning from big data? From big data, there's no difference, because in big data we use the similar library, we use the similar ways. There's no difference at all. Python is same whether it's machine learning, deep learning, building a web application, building a thick client. Python is same everywhere. Just that additional libraries are what matter. Okay, say for example, you're building a web application, you will require Django. If you are working with machine learning, then you'll require scikit-learn and NumPy. Those are the only differences. The core language is common and same for all right. I talked about the instructor. I'm Sandeep Giri, and I enjoy explaining things. And this is our first code that we tried, 2 plus 3, which we all know. So we used the CloudxLab blog, the okay, CloudxLab blog, where we've written down the details about how to install. And the first attempt which we did was to use the CloudxLab for Jupyter, and we went over how Jupyter looks like and how to start Python 3. Okay, so. And we also talked about how to use the Jupyter. You basically write the code in the notebook in the shell, and then press Shift Enter, and then it gives you the result. Okay. Now, okay. So, in case of if you want to run it from the console, you can also click on Web Console, export the path, activate Python 3 environment, the 36 environment, and then launch. And once that was done, we also installed the Anaconda on our Windows. Okay, what is Anaconda? Anaconda is a bunch of bunch of software packaged together so that you don't need to install individual libraries separately. It comes with almost everything required for data sciences and machine learning. So except for TensorFlow, it doesn't come with TensorFlow. And all we need to do was download Anaconda, and we need to download 3.6 version. Then after the installation is completed, we needed to launch Anaconda Navigator and then launch the Jupyter Notebook. Okay. And we can also start Anaconda prompt. Okay. From the Anaconda prompt, we could say Python 3 and then it would launch. All right. So come over to the discussion forum. I would love to answer your questions at discuss.cloudxlab.com. Okay. All right. I'm great to have such a great audience today. Good set of questions. And you will get a feedback form. You will have to respond to that feedback form. We are pretty much done. If you have more questions, please ask. If you want me to go over certain part again, I would love to go over it again. Today's session, the aim was to be able to do the installation, to be able to get started with our first simplest code possible, which was 2 plus 3, and to be able to give you an overview of CloudxLab. Any questions at the point, or should we call it a day? All right. Great questions, Partha, Karthik, Prabhu, MVR, Milan. Okay. So, Narsima. Thank you, Prasad. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, MVVR. Thank you, Deepanjan. Thank you, Juhi. Thank you, Manoj. Great. I look forward to see all of you tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow we are going to go ahead with Python, and the approach is most likely going to be the hands-on. Okay, so instead of the old way where we had a classroom and the teacher teaches first and then we go to the lab at the end of the session and then do, instead of that approach, you all have to work together. As while I do the same thing, I do something, you have to do the same thing, and that's the only way to learn. And I have done enough experimentations, and we found that people only retained the parts that they actually worked on. Okay, I have taught more than 2000 hours, and I've built and written more than maybe 8-9 lakhs lines of codes, and I've built like 10-15 products. But the only learning I have is the only way to learn programming of any kinds is by doing hands-on. Okay. Besides, question A is why conda? Can we do it with normal Python? Yes, just that you will have to install these packages that we are going to use: NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, and scikit-learn. Great to have all of you in the session. Thank you, Suman. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you, Raju. Thank you, Pratik. Thank you, Prasad. Thank you, Edwin. I look forward to see you all tomorrow at the same time. All right. Okay. So, yeah. The objective of today's session was to just get started, and I have not used Google Hangout before, but it looks usable to me now. Great. Thank you all, and thank you those who have answered the questions to other people, making our life easier and more interactive. All right, Prasanna, thank you very much. I look forward to see you all tomorrow at the same time. All right. If you have more questions, come over to discuss.cloudxlab.com. Wonderful set of questions. Keep the questions coming. That's the only way to learn. Questions and hands-on is what makes you learn any technology. Okay? If you do not ask questions, you will not be able to grasp anything afterwards. All right? Great, great. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Okay, I'm muted. Okay. A question from Sunil is that do we have any prerequisites for installing Anaconda Navigator in Office laptops? Mm, Try installing, just check that. Okay. It's an open source software, so your Office should not have a problem with installing it. And just check if you have the admin rights and other things. Along with that, the check with the Office policies. I see. I see. Okay. Okay. The okay. So the further question from Sunil is that I'm able to install fine, but when trying to open Anaconda Navigator, I'm getting error like Python has stopped working. Okay. Come over to the discussion forum. I think if you show us the screenshot, then we could help you out with that. Okay. A question from Edwin is that how well do we need to know Python in order to learn ML? Okay, so good question. So you don't need to be like very big expert at Python, but you should know how to write loops, how to write functions, how to how to um, how to build a logic using Python, and maybe the classes and objects. Okay, you don't need to be a ninja at Python in order to learn ML. Okay, so those are the things that come, you know, at the top of mind that are required in order to learn ML. Okay, great. So come over to the discussion forum. We would love to answer your questions, and these are very good questions, and they could also help others. Okay. All right, Edwin, was I able to answer your question? All right. So great. Great to have all of you in the session. I look forward to see you tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow's session is going to be 3 hours. Okay. It'll be from 7 to 10. There's going to be a break of 10 minutes in the midway. All right. Great. Thank you everyone again. I look forward to see you on the discussion forum. Bye bye. Have a good day.